Hey Ashley, how you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for taking time out of your festival right now, or your Pacific Fire Gathering, to come talk to me.
Yeah, of course.
Excellent. You were just telling me about how you put in some 4 months with PWB, Performers Without Borders, in India.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me about that.
It was a really intense experience. It was super beautiful. An honor to get to travel such a diverse country. Its culture is completely opposite of ours, so it was really nice to have such a wider perspective on the way that people live in the world and be able to give back in a way that I feel like is really meaningful and has been really impactful for me. So that was really cool. Basically, what PWB does, I don't know if you know. So they have like three different tours. They have the Nicaragua tour, the India tour, and the Kenya tour. And so the India tour is the longest, and we go overseas and work with kids in disadvantaged communities, so kids living in slums, kids that are in like protected schools, and we teach them circus. And what's really cool about that is that the India tour is the longest tour that PWB has been doing, so some of those kids have been doing this for 10 years because that's how long PWB has been around. So we worked with one school where they've seen us every year for the past 10 years, and they've progressed so much that we're like actually able to teach them advanced things, and they've created their own talent group and are doing fire shows on their own. And it's really cool just to like go over there and like almost be like a mentor to them.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
so
that's incredible.
yeah.
And what flow skills have you focused on teaching when you went over there?
So I actually taught all kinds of things. Like when I do flow festivals, I focus on poi because that's the thing I've explored the most heavily. But over there, I was teaching contact staff, hoops, juggling, clubs, teaching all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you've been spending long enough that you have that familiarity with all those
Yeah, I
props.
mean, I can teach like basics with all of those props. Poi is like, when it comes to flow festivals, it's the thing that I've explored technically the most. So.
Mm-hmm. And so how did you get involved with Performers Without Borders?
So I've been hearing about it for a few years from some friends in the community, and I just thought it was a really unique way to travel. I love teaching and I love kids, and I've always wanted to make a difference in the world and work with people like that, so it just seemed like the perfect fit. So I just applied and got accepted, and that was that. I had to do a lot of fundraising and stuff like that.
Have you made connections with any of the kids out there and like seen them grow over the years? Or this was your first time?
It was my first time. But yeah, there's like one or two of the older kids. Whenever we were out there, what's really cool about the India one, because it's the longest one, we go to, basically the tour does like 3 different places that we go to in India. We did Ahmedabad, Varanasi, and Darjeeling. And we were in Varanasi. That's where the Ashlee is the name of the school that PWB has been working with the longest. And we got to bring one of the kids out there with us to Darjeeling for a couple of weeks to just kind of, as like a mentoring program, they got to like teach alongside of us. And that was like a really unique experience.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's excellent. And I mean, I know for a lot of people, they don't understand that just how rewarding it can be to teach a class and to give your skills back.
Yeah, totally. And like working with kids is so different than working with, I guess, people here, because they're all adults and their attention spans are a little bit longer, and there's not like a language barrier. I can talk a lot. So that was like a really unique challenge to have to figure out, learn enough Hindi to be able to express things in like the most basic way, and also just make it really fun, because kids, their attention span is so short. So yeah, it was really great.
That's awesome. Where did you get your start, like with teaching classes? Was it at a festival?
Yeah, so let me think. So I started teaching about 3 years ago, maybe 4. I started doing workshops in Houston, here and there, which is my home city. And from there, I just started posting a lot of content. And my first year of teaching, I just did it all as a volunteer instructor. I paid for everything myself just to gain experience and to like be able to put that on my resume. And then the following year I started asking for like stipend money and doubled the amount of festivals I went to. And then my last year I did my biggest tour. I did over 15 festivals, and yeah, I feel like now I've got a lot more of a handle on it, but it was just started doing it.
What do you think is the best part about teaching?
I guess like people getting excited about things, like sharing that excitement and like seeing that connection of like watching. There's something about like whenever you're practicing a certain move or discovering something that's really rewarding and just like feeling creative. But when you're sharing that with another person and they're realizing the potential of what they can do with this, and like I guess just being in the moment with that and like feeling that sense of creativity and like that connection through that, seeing people smile. I don't know, there's just, that's even more rewarding than getting it yourself, just like seeing the knowledge being passed on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm curious what kind of, if you got some knowledge you might be able to pass on to people listening. Maybe there's some poi spinners out there. If people are interested in picking up flowarts or poi, like where would you recommend, maybe like what kind of poi they should get? Or
Yeah, I say sock poi. If it's your first time doing poi, just make some sock poi. The way I do that is like 2/3 of a cup of rice in a sock, tie a knot on the end. That way it doesn't hurt when it hits you, and it's a lot more forgiving.
And then what about fire spinning? Because that's the goal for a lot of people.
I wouldn't just do it on your own. I would try and find a community, a local community. If you are going to do it on your own, if you're like in the middle of nowhere and you don't know anyone around you, like have a friend, out there with you. Make sure you're using the right kind of fuel. There's so much information online. Make sure you have a safety, that's your friend, and like a blanket, like a wet towel if you don't have a duvetine. Just don't try doing it on your own by yourself.
And so you were teaching some workshops here at Pacific Fire. What was the class that you were covering?
So I taught 3 workshops. The first one that I taught what's the first one that I taught? I taught an advanced contact poi one today, and then I taught a side toss class, and then the first one I taught was a Tingles class. So, yeah.
Excellent. That's awesome. And then if people are interested in seeing some of, do you have any of your workshops recorded or online, or any of your instructions?
There's some on YouTube. There's some recap videos on YouTube. I pretty much do a little explanation of everything I covered. I kind of like that knowledge being put out there. But I also do like private lessons, private online like Skype lessons. That's something that people are interested in.
Okay. And how would people be able to find that?
So you can message me through social media. My Facebook is my name is Ashlee Galliford. It was spelled out in the front in the beginning of this interview. And Instagram, my Instagram is ash_lee_g. And shoot me a message on either one of those platforms.
Awesome.
Also, my email, that's also useful. It's Ashlee Galliford, flowarts@gmail.com.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Awesome, Ashlee. Do you have anything else you want to say about like the flow arts or about fire spinning or the community in general?
Yeah, I mean, if this is something you're first getting into, like I would go head first. And I think the community is super beautiful. I love how intimate it is and how much I'm seeing it grow. And I'm really thankful for everyone and what it has given me in my life. Like definitely a sense of purpose and direction and connection, all the things that I feel like are really important and necessary for us to thrive as humans. So, yeah.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, thank you for being a guest on All Things Fire.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Fire now. You got my attention. Is something burning?
If you want to support the All Things Fire podcast, head on over to patreon.com and search for Morgan Floki. Thank you for all your support, travelers. Have a great day.